Hi everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. My policy brief title would be a policy recommendation to improve air quality in the EU and the case of Brussels, and my role is a citizen, and my target group would be policy makers. So I think by now you all well know that the air pollution is really serious in the EU, and I was really surprised by all the discussion at the Pollen course that it is more worrying than I had thought. And according to the Environmental Agency report 2016, more than 420,000 citizens die prematurely in the EU due to the poor air quality. And there is EU legislation on ambient air quality and cleaner air for Europe. Directive 2008-50 sets air pollution limits that cannot be exceeded anywhere in the EU and obliges member states to limit the exposure of citizens to harmful air pollutants. But the late implementation of directives and temporary exemption and leniency of the EU government have led to the air pollution EU-wide. And currently, in 23 out of 28 member states, air quality standards are still being exceeded. And earlier this week, the European Commission sent a final warning to these 5 countries for the repeated breaches for air pollution of nitrogen dioxide. And my assumption is that this lack of action of member states is associated with a low public awareness in the EU-wide. For example, the European Commission survey 2013 shows that nearly 3/4 of EU citizens have not heard of EU air quality standards and national emission ceilings. And now I will speak about the case of Brussels. I think Brussels is emblematic of lacking awareness and non-applications of the EU legal framework. There is no efficiency air pollution measurement tools, and I found through the research that there is no nitrogen dioxide measures and no policy or incentives to reduce the cause of air pollution, and they wait for the federal level to take action. And but they adopted in 2016 the Air Energy Climate Plan, but it's a bit limited, like reducing parking places or with the measures not yet in place. And last month, a draft resolution calling for better information of citizens on air pollution has been rejected by the majority of the regional parliament. So I consider like 2 levels of policy options. First is the EU-wide, and the second is the member states and local level. The first is the European Commission to bring more cases before the European Court of Justice. And if they still don't comply, then the the ECJ to impose fines to member states. And the second option can be adopting a regulation instead of directives. And the third is to use the regional funds to incentivize more projects and actions against air pollution. And the fourth is reinforce obligation of public information and encouraging citizens lobbying. And from the member states and local level, I think there can be a subsidy and incentives for switching to electric cars. This is quite successful in Korea now, and imposing fuel taxes. And I also put the example from Singapore that there is a promise for buying a car use, but I think it's difficult to work here, but just an example. And then introducing stringent low emission zones and banning diesel vehicles from entering the inner city area and improve information. So based on this, my recommendation is at this stage is 2. So one is a bottom-up approach, because I think this is very important to increase public awareness. That, as I mentioned earlier, that the public awareness is very low in Europe and in Brussels. Use innovative approaches like to informing the public about the air pollution, such as text message or air quality bulletins in weather forecasts. Like I'm from Korea, and in Korea, the air pollution index is the first thing we check in the morning. It's available everywhere in the radio, TV, and the mobile phone. And according to this, the school limited the outside activities, and then people are advised to wear masks. So it's very common to wear masks, and then the people are quite well protected, even it's very polluted. And then they put in place specific warnings for sensitive groups, especially for children and elderly people. And second priority is a top-down approach. Accelerate the existing, the application of the existing EU legal framework. Have a fully operational air pollution measurement, and introducing low emissions zone, and introduce vehicles traffic restriction during peak periods. And I was also thinking incentivize alternative models for city delivery service, etc. So following are the references I used for this Pollen talk. And thank you. This is the picture I got in the Brussels Times. I found this very sad. Okay. Thank you.